Welcome to Globally Growing, a podcast dedicated to spiritual growth and development. Each week, we will explore various topics that are relevant to today that also promote spiritual growth, conduct powerful interviews, inspire you to walk into your calling, and have fun doing so. From across the globe, we are growing, and we want you to grow too.
Greetings and welcome to Globally Growing. I'm your host, Sharon Nobushle Williams. Today, we will continue our series entitled Healing from Loss. During this series, we are exploring how you can regain joy after suffering from the trauma of loss. Last week, I shared that few people realize that ministers are humans that suffer the same struggles as anyone else. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 15 tells us that Jesus, our high priest, was tempted in every way just as we are, yet he did not sin. This same Jesus shared the same emotional journey as he wept when Lazarus died in John chapter 11, and as he displayed anger when he made a whip out of cords to chase away the money changers. We see him plead with God to remove the cup of crucifixion from him before conceding to the will of God. Likewise, as ministers of the gospel, so many people suffer great trials and great loss. The difference is that few people get the opportunity to see how men and women of God manage their frustrations, grief, and sorrow. This is why I believe this series is so important. It exposes the vulnerability of the minister so that through our scars, you may find faith to press through your pain as well. During our first episode of this series, we introduced you to Prophet Mbulelo Gqeba and his lovely wife Pulane of South Africa. To lay a foundation for their testimony, Mbulelo began by sharing the story of his upbringing and how he came to know Christ. He shared how he ran away from his calling to operate in the prophetic and God's ultimatum, which led him back into the household of faith. Today, we will further explore his prophetic calling, and you'll get a chance to learn a bit about Pulane, who had already suffered the loss of her mother at a young age. Afterwards, we learn of what Hollywood calls the meet cute, the warm-hearted story that only they can share about how Mbulelo discovered that Pulane was the one. I feel that their backstory is important so that you can take a look inside the life of one of God's ministers and gain a clear understanding that the life of a minister isn't much different from anyone else's. And now, let's pick up where we left off in our interview. Okay, so just a little boy, and you have this, what you didn't recognize to be a vision.
Okay. Yes. And I told brother Mtimkulu, Isaac Mtimkulu at the time, and then he laughed at me. And then I was so offended because I wasn't crazy. I saw what I saw. I asked people sitting next to me, they didn't see what I saw. And then fast forward 3 months down the line, I was in the intercession in the morning. I did not know what the intercession was. We were told to come early. I thought it was Sunday school. We went in there, and then when somebody was speaking in front, there was somebody also speaking in my ear with a different voice. He kept saying, "One day you are going to work for me. One day you are going to work for me."
And again, this wasn't somebody physically there. This was just someone you could hear.
When I looked, all the children were sitting and were looking in front, and we were doing what kids did. But this voice sounded more mature than any of the kids in the room.
Okay.
And that's when I was afraid of church. Like, what are these people doing? Why are they talking in echo? Why is this one talking and the other one talking in my ear? And that's when it started. And then in 1987, I was working from school. And then he said, the same voice that I was now familiar with. It said to me, I am gonna be with you for the rest of your life. I'm not gonna leave you nor forsake you. But he spoke in Xhosa.
Okay.
I'll never leave you nor forsake you.
So up until this time, when you were hearing this voice at the church, it was in English.
No.
Always in Xhosa.
Okay. I couldn't speak English at the time.
Okay.
It was in my native
Okay,
language.
gotcha.
So that was in the beginning. Then in 87, I think I was in standard 5. Then I understood a bit of English, but it was speaking. Even today, it still speaks to me in vernacular.
Yeah.
Yes. So he said to me, I'm never gonna leave you nor forsake you. I shall be with you until the end of time. And I said to him, but I'm shy. How do I serve you? Now I understood the servants. I understood there's a servant of God, this and that. And he stands in front of people and then he goes visit people at houses. I'm like, dude, I am so shy. I can't do that. That's when I ran away from church.
Oh.
But before in 85, a friend of mine, remember, said, when you absconded from school for 5 days, you were derolled. A friend of mine was sick. It was on the 4th day. I was the only one that were laid hands on. I thought it was for the elect and the select of other people. I never thought I could do it. So now a very dear friend of mine was very sick at school. And they said, come Friday and he's not back. He's going to be chased from school. And I went home so worried. On my way home, that familiar voice came to me and said, tonight you are going to pray for him. And tomorrow is coming back to school. I thought, never. What? What? I stayed at home. I remember from after school, I stayed in the bedroom. I pretended to be studying, but I wasn't. I was shaking. I was worried. In the evening, when the sun went down, I walked out of my room and walked straight to his house. When I got there, I knocked at the door. They opened and they just stood there. I found him sleeping on the floor. He was sick. Eyes were deep inside. He was skin and bone. I stood there and I said to him, tomorrow you are going to school. He said, but I can't. Can't you see my condition? I said to him, when I walk out of here, you will follow me. I laid my hand on him and I said, you said you're going to heal him. Now heal him. Then I removed my hand. He jumped up and stood on 2 feet and I walked out. When I walked out, he followed me. People in the house, everybody ran outside. They were screaming and there were shouts and neighbors came in asking what was happening. They thought he died because they know how sick he was. Then they all exclaimed, no, this man came in, not boy. This man came in and touched him. And then now he's walking. Tomorrow morning he went to school. That's how it started.
Okay.
And then a few months later, when I went to his house and he introduced me as his friend, they said, why don't you tell us who your friend is? No, he was here the other day. Said, we've never seen him before.
They didn't even recognize you.
Yes. He started explaining to them, no, he's the one that came. They said, that was a man. This is the boy. We don't know what happened. And I couldn't explain it either.
Wow.
So that's when it started. In 87, when he said I was going to serve him, I said I was shy. He said, no, you're going to work with me. I ran away from church. And then I went full time to politics.
When did you and Pulane meet?
At church, I was a youth leader. In the subcommittee, I was in the art and culture.
Was this before or after exile? This was after you've come back?
After 97.
Now, were both of you adults by this time?
We're in our mid-20s, right? Yeah, we're in our 20s. So I was heading the art and culture, everything that had to do with music, dance, grammar, drama, such things. So she was also heading the same at her own church.
Did you live nearby?
No, we lived 30 minutes away from each other.
But your churches fellowship with one another?
Yeah, but we've never met.
So Pulane, now we've gotten a great introduction into who Mbulelo was, and he shared his story. Tell us a little bit about you, and I would like to start your story, actually, kind of how you grew up, what your family dynamic was, and that type of thing.
I'm Pulane, born Manye, and
Manye?
then yes.
Is that your first name or second name?
I only have one name.
Pulane Mnyani?
Manye. That's my surname, my maiden name, my maiden surname.
Okay. Your surname, not second name, surname.
No, surname.
Okay.
Yes. I am the firstborn of
The second firstborn.
yeah.
The second firstborn. Okay.
Yes,
How does
the
that happen?
second the second firstborn in a way that my dad had my half brother before he met my mom. So I have a half brother who happens to be deaf. And then
That's where our signing come from.
Yeah, yeah.
and then there was a girl before me who unfortunately passed on my from my mother's kids. And then there was me, and then there's my sister who comes after me. So well, we grew up in a tight little family, just because my sister came about 5 years after me. So yeah, I've always been a big sister
You're
for the
OC
rest of my
indeed,
life.
right?
Yes. Yeah, and then we were pretty off okay because both my parents were working. My dad was in the police service.
He's the one that was chasing me.
Ah, yeah. See, but that wasn't popular, was it, for black men to be in the police? Was that during that time?
Uh, yeah, well, it
Before
was.
that, it was popular. Police, nurses, and social workers
Mm,
were our choice
of
jobs.
career, yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
And then after 84, police was not very popular. That's when they were killed, they were banned, and so on. Yeah.
Mm.
Most of them even moved and stayed in the barracks.
Mm.
Okay.
Or in the what we call suburb areas.
Middle class earning
The
areas.
middle age areas. Oh, okay.
Middle
They
class.
retired.
Yeah, so and then where was I before
You were 7
rudely, yes,
before he rudely interrupted.
you
Behave,
know,
Mbulelo.
yes. So then we moved to Sebokeng where we lived our whole almost lives there. And then unfortunately I lost my mother when I was 13, just about to finish primary school. What do you call elementary? Is that what you call it?
Some people call it primary school here as well. But yeah, we
Yeah,
call it elementary school where I'm from.
yeah. So I was around 13 years when I lost my mom, and then and then uh I think the following year or 2 years after she passed, that's when I met the Lord.
Okay.
And then I met the Lord through my cousin brother who was saved by then. He invited me to a youth fellowship or a youth service, because what would normally happen at our church is they would have a month dedicated to youth. I was invited there, and when I got to the church, they had unfortunately moved, but just something in me didn't want to go back home. So I don't know. I started walking only to find out that the place where I went, they had moved to where I was walking, and I wasn't even aware. So when I got there and I started hearing people singing, I got in, and my cousin was surprised. How did I know that the church moved there? So when I got there, I don't even remember what the message was about, though. But I got saved there. And then that's how I started my walk with the Lord. Because I remember this other time I was walking from church, and then a voice was telling me that I have found the love of my mother. So this is where I was gonna be loved.
Oh, let me see if I understand. You heard a voice saying that where the church that you were at is where you would find the love of your mother. In other words, that's
Yes,
where that void
yes,
of that
yes,
loss would be fulfilled, would be filled.
yes, yes,
Ah,
Okay.
yes.
hey, look,
So
Mbulelo just learned something. Look.
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so uh from there then really I really learned and experienced the love of of God as a mother to me, because we we had cell groups, and I found mothers there who would do things that I didn't expect from them. Uh,
They
we
became
would
mother
set
figures.
Yes, yes, yes. We we would celebrate birthdays and get gifts because
Yeah.
my mom was very big on birthdays.
We still celebrate birthdays even today. Even when we don't have anything, we had to buy a cake and blow the candles.
And which isn't very common there in South Africa with a lot of black families that they go out of their way to celebrate really big birthdays, is it?
No, no.
Yeah.
We
So,
here we celebrate 1 and 21.
yeah.
The most you can't
And
miss
who's
those.
going to remember their first birthday?
You know, but I never had my 21st birthday.
You want us to give you one?
Yeah, I owe
It's
him
never too
one.
late, right?
I want the key. I want that golden key.
Oh my word.
Oh, okay.
You know, in South Africa, they give a key.
Okay.
That
I'll
doesn't
have to
open
see if we
anything.
can find a brass one or something for you. Maybe a
Yes.
copper one. Globally Growing is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me explain. First of all, it's free, and that's a price point you can't beat with a stick. Plus, they have these creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, so tell me about how you two met. How old were you, and what were the circumstances of how the two of you met?
It was my first year in tertiary.
Okay, so it's like community college, I guess, in the States. So it's after you graduate high school, it's after after you matriculated, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay, so
yes.
it's kind of like maybe equivalent to community college, I would say, here in the
Oh,
States.
okay.
Okay. I don't know, because college with us, it's another institution.
Okay, but tertiary is not another institution. Isn't that a higher level than high school?
Yes, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I had just started my first year at tertiary, and our previous drama leader was moving away. He was also going to another tertiary. So there was a vacancy for a
Yes.
drama leader.
Okay.
There was, yes, there
This is
was
at
a,
your church, the drama leader at your
yes,
church. Okay.
yes. The drama leader at our church was moving, and then I was inaugurated into the position. So I had recently started in that position. So what happened was, one of the gentlemen who normally helped with our drama group, because in those days, across churches, we would normally have inter-youth services from one church, and we would join maybe if the other church is having a youth conference or something of the sort, then we
You would
would
fellowship with them.
Yes, yes. So he suggested that there's another brother from Koinonia Bible Church, and he has a group in their church, and it's doing well. So maybe we can join hands and work something out together.
And
So
Koinonia Bible Church is Pastor Mkulu's church, of which you, Mbulelo, belong to, correct?
Yes.
yes, yes. So that's how we met. Yeah.
Okay, during that fellowship, okay.
Yes, because we would normally have rehearsals almost every weekend or so, or every second weekend or so. Yes.
No, it was second weekend because we had to have our own, and then we had to have yours separately.
Yes.
Okay, and was it love at first sight? And were you looking at each other like,
No.
you didn't even, Mbulelo wasn't looking at you saying, Mbulelo Pulane sitting in the tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. You know,
No.
that doesn't even sound right. Mbulelo has too many syllables in his name for that to flow.
No.
So you guys didn't even like each other?
No, because after that, then we became friends. We were just one brother and sister.
Bouncing ideas, this and that.
Yeah.
Until 1999, ne?
So wait a minute, back up. How many
quite,
years was that? How long? About what year was it when you guys first met? Would you say?
I don't remember the year.
It was 1997, 98.
Okay, so it was a couple of years that you guys became just friends. You were friends, brother and sister.
Yes. We were friends for quite a while, because I think it was 98, 97 going to 98 when we met. And then, like I said, I just recently started in tertiary. So I went to the Val Technicon, which is now Val
University of Technology.
Yes, and that was not my initial choice of institution. So in 1999, they accepted me where I wanted to go. So that was in PE, in Port Elizabeth.
Today.
Which is quite far. It's what today?
Yes.
Oh, they've changed the name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that name. I still know Port Elizabeth. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I still call it Port Elizabeth. Me and a whole lot of other people.
Yeah. You're that older generation. Oh, white people.
Especially white people.
They will keep it as Port Elizabeth, because that's
the clique doesn't go well with them.
Exactly. So now you left then.
Yes.
And moved to Port Elizabeth. Okay.
Yes. For 2 years, I was there that side. 1999 and 1998 and 99.
Yes. Then 2000 you went back and worked.
Yes.
Yeah.
By then you were still just friends all that time, or by then you were
started? Yeah. Okay. We're still friends.
All that time.
Yes. All that time.
Yeah, because interestingly enough, now by the time I spent the time that I spent with you guys, it was around 2009, and you guys were still best friends, even though you had been married for some years.
We still are.
Which is really, really cool. Which is really quite cool. But so when did you guys decide that, oh, I like what I see. Ooh la la.
Well, he decided.
You still
was it December?
Sure. 99, yeah.
I think it was in December 99. I know the year 99. I had gone to fetch her at the train station. She was coming back from PE, Port
Oh,
Elizabeth.
cool, yeah.
So there is this lady that was also at the station. She was also fetching somebody. She was so upset. I don't know what was she upset about. But just in my spirit, I went and I spoke to her. As we spoke, she asked me what was I doing there. Because the train was late. You know, the trains in South Africa. The train was late, I think for about an hour or so. And I said I was fetching a friend. When we spoke, she discovered that a friend was a she. Remember, most in our language, we don't have the distinction between a she and a he. We just speak of them.
Which I know, just even with a lot of people that I know who speak in English, they have a difficult time determining whether to say he or she when they
He
talk.
or she. Yes, yes. And then eventually she realized that this person I'm talking about was a she. And then she said to me, "How long have you known her?" Then we started talking about her. And then she said to me, "You know you love her." And a penny dropped. And then she said, "If you don't do anything about it, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life."
So as soon as she said that, you decided, oh, maybe I do.
Yeah, when I say penny drop, I'm like, I do love her. Like, in that moment, I started looking back. I checked back the letters we wrote. Remember, we wrote letters? The sermons I wrote to her. Every week would write letters to each other. And all those things came flooding in my mind. I'm like, maybe I do love her. And then the strange thing is, the train didn't come. This lady, we went to a public payphone. You call them payphones. We went to the payphone across the street in Markpark, in Vereeniging in Markpark. We went there to call somebody. When I came back, the train had left. And Pulane had gone and took a taxi and went home. So I didn't see her. I asked people, they told me that the train had left already. I went back to the township. I didn't see you that day, ne?
I can't remember.
Then I saw her the next day. And I said to her, "I think I love you."
Did he say it like that? Like,
yes, he did.
You know, guess what? I think no emotion. Like, ooh, I think I love you. Like, as a matter of fact, I kind of think I love you.
And I'm like, this guy.
What did you think when he said that?
No, I was like, what is the meaning of "I think I love you"? How do you say that? It's either you know or you don't, but you can't say "I think." Like, no.
And then she said to me, "I'm gonna think about it." Okay. I said, "Okay."
So this was definitely not a prophetic marriage. This was one of those things where I just don't know what's going on.
Needless to say, she disappeared on me for what, 6 months?
Not that long. How? It's not even weeks.
She disappeared on me, Sharon.
It was 4 weeks.
She ghosted you. On purpose?
No.
Were you in fasting and prayer trying to figure out why he's stalking you?
Yes. What is the meaning of "I think I love you"?
And we didn't have phones at the time. I didn't have a phone. Did you have a phone? No, I bought you a phone. We didn't have phones.
Oh, he loved you because he was buying you phones, girl. You know that's love.
So when she disappeared, I didn't know where she went.
I didn't disappear. What had happened was,
you know it was coming after that, telling your tall tales.
I didn't disappear.
But I didn't see her.
No, but you knew where I was. What happened was, after he said that, I said, okay, I need time with the Lord to figure this or think about this. So I took a taxi and went to see my sister in Rustenburg.
Okay. Which is about 2.5 hours away from the area you were living in.
Yes. Area, yeah. So another province, if you can put it like that.
Yes, the Northwest province. You were living in the Gauteng province and you went to the Northwest province to Try
Yes.
to hear a word from the Lord. What is
Yes.
this man talking about?
Yes.
I think I love you.
Yes, I did that and I stayed there that side for about a month. And he would call and asking, when are you coming back? I need my
Oh, because
answer.
by then you were longing for her. By then, once you realized you were
I
in love
thought
with
it was 6 months. Look.
Oh, that penny dropped and you were done. You were smitten, huh?
You know what I would do? You know what I would do now? From my house to her house is a 30 minutes walk. I would walk past that house twice a day
And
just to
I'm
check
not
if she
there.
was there. And she wasn't.
Hey.
So do you blame me if I say 6 months? I mean 4 weeks times 2, twice a day.
Oh, okay. Is that
That's why I get my 6 months.
Okay.
Yes, as you were
Well,
saying.
if you start doing the math, it adds up. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward then. So you spent a month there. Did you get your answer?
Yes. Ta-da! Here we are.
Okay, how did you find how did the answer come to you in a dream, in the vision, and the deep sleep of the night that the Lord say, marry that idiot or he'll stalk you for life?
No. Well, what I normally would when I got there, my sister, my cousin was a nurse. She was working in a um she was a deaf specialist in a clinic.
Okay.
She dealt with
That's what she was.
yes.
Oh, okay.
She dealt with deaf patients and all that. So early when she goes to work, I would clean the house and get into prayer. I would pray almost every morning. And then I remember this other time because I would kneel in the bedroom and then I just felt yes, he's the
Just felt
one.
it in my spirit. Okay.
Yes,
It wasn't
yes.
nothing
I
magical,
didn't see
but it
thunder and what, no.
but you just felt a peace in your spirit that this I guess this
Yes,
can work.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Is that when you decided
So
to go
and
home?
yeah, that's when I decided to go home, and my cousin had plans to take me to the casino, and
The
I
Sun
had
City.
the Sun City, yes.
And we haven't gone to the Sun. We still need to go to the Sun City.
So Sun City is like the huge attraction in South Africa for their casino and the big theme park attraction, I guess you can call it, the water parks and everything.
Yes.
The big fancy expensive ritzy hotels and that they have there in South Africa. Sun
Is
City,
it not famous around the world?
it's considered quite famous. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
And you still
That's where
haven't gotten
they
a
shot
chance
the
to,
movie.
huh?
No, I was saying that's where they shot the Leon Schuster movie.
Oh
Mr. Bones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember there was a time when I was called Mr. Bones?
Because you
There
were
you
skin
go
and
again.
bones.
No.
Now, because of
What?
a chauffeur. When I blew a chauffeur.
Oh, yeah.
We will get to that later.
Okay. Okay. That's funny. Wow. I so enjoyed hearing about how Mbulelo and Pulane met and stayed in the friend zone until Mbulelo decided to rock the boat with the revelation that he was in love with her. Next week, we'll move on to the next phase of their journey, marriage. So please tune in to hear their story of holy matrimony with God as the glue that held them together as one flesh, next week on Globally Growing. Bye now.
Thanks for tuning in to Globally Growing. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. If you'd like to learn more about Globally Growing, please visit us at globallygrowing.one. Again, that's globallygrowing.one. Until next time, never, ever, ever stop growing.